Yeah, I grew up in
Yeah.
Santa Rosa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, Aidan McDonnell.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited that you will be presenting at Virtual Harp Summit 3. And our theme this year is, well, this time, because we do it twice a year actually, is arranging, improvising, and composing.
Great.
And yeah, and I think you're just perfect for this theme because you do all of those. You
Right.
arrange, you improvise, and compose. And
Right.
so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, at 7, my parents bought an old upright piano for my mother, and they I just found a piano book in the bench, John Thompson's, and pulled it out and taught myself to play and read music. So then they took me to lessons, and I had formal classical training on piano for a decade. And then in my early 30s, I found the Celtic harp, actually found Celtic music, and then fell in love with the harp. So Sylvia Woods was selling harps in her living room at the time. It was that long ago, 30 years ago. And I just dated myself. And so it's okay. Um, and so
It's a good thing.
she had 5 in her living room, and she played them all. I said, I want that one. Here's my credit card, because I had a corporate job at the time. And my dream was to make my living as a musician, but I was taught, you have to have a real job. So I had
Ah,
a job for about 25 years. Then the economy changed, and I was forced into, I think the universe kind of helped me, push me into my dream. And so I've been working as self-employed as a musician for the past 10 years.
that it can be done.
It can be done, right? I mean, you have to sacrifice certain things, right? Like, I don't go to Cape Breton with my friends every summer because I can't afford it, but that's okay, because I really enjoy having the freedom that I have now.
Right, the daily freedom and,
Yeah.
and 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 beauty. I mean, you're surrounded by beauty. I mean, even looking at your place right now, you're surrounded by beauty. You know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So we have some people coming in. Lorna is saying hello from the forests of the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, hi, Lorna.
Hello, Lorna. And Gloria is coming in, I think, from Southern California, and that is where you are, Aiden,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, yes, I know her.
oh, cool! What a small world. Oh, yeah, yeah. And Tiffany is coming in from Cleveland. So, guys, if you have any questions, Donna Ingram says hi, Aiden.
Oh,
Maybe she knows you.
no, Donna, she's one of
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Aiden. She says. Yeah. So, everybody in the comments, yeah, please introduce yourself. Let's hang out. We're doing like a little bit of a Virtual Harp Summit 3 preview. This is a lot like a social hour. And we have Bethany here from Northeast Georgia. Welcome, Bethany. So, yeah, you're down in Southern California right now. You teach a lot on Skype.
Yep.
You're a full-time musician, and in particular, your workshop that you're going to give, Aiden, for Virtual Harp Summit 3 is about the secret chords of Celtic music. And I'm saying for arranging and session playing, because you're touching on both those topics.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's heavy on session playing, but you can definitely use it for arranging.
Cool. Could you tell us a little bit what session playing is?
Okay, so a session, or a session, or session, if it depends on where you are in the British Isles, is basically a bunch of musicians getting together playing Celtic music. If it's a session, that's the Irish word for it, so you're going to play mostly the Irish music. In Scotland, of course, you play probably more the Scottish stuff. In the US, especially in Southern California, they tend to be more Irish, lean toward Irish music. I play with a group called the Scottish Fiddlers of Los Angeles, and so myself and another friend, Elena, who also is with that group and plays in the sessions, we're bringing more Scottish music into the Irish sessions down here. So what it is basically you get together at a prearranged time and place, usually a pub, and you play the music, and you play tunes that a lot of people know. And so there are different types of sessions, and I go through this in my handout that comes with the workshop.
Love
Right,
the handout.
3 different types of sessions, and one is usually closed unless you know the tunes and you know them well, and you don't need the music, and you can play them at their tempo and speed. You don't want to sit in and play with them. And then there's an open session, which I enjoy, and you've got a lot of different people, ranges of skills and abilities and knowledge. And so it's a great place to learn, but you kind of, if you don't know the tunes, you sit back and you don't want to play loudly if you don't know it, because everybody's there to enjoy, and people, including people listening. And then there's a slow session. That's where you go if you want to learn, really learn the tunes and get them up to speed. So that's kind of,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe sometimes people are intimidated harpists are intimidated to go to sessions because they think they need to be playing like the fiddlers. They need to play the entire tune up to speed. But in fact, you're showing a lot about playing instead with chords.
Right.
It makes so much sense musically, as well as, you know, on our on our brain power, you know, because I mean the harp is not set up necessarily to play those fast fiddle tunes.
Right, exactly. And even some of those fast fiddle tunes, I play the accordion as well, the piano accordion, and which is much easier to play the faster tunes. But even some of those tunes are difficult for me to play up to fiddler speed, to some of the fast fiddler speed. I mean, we're talking fast. We're talking like 200 plus beats per minute.
Yeah.
So,
storming along.
And some of them you can on the harp if you're skilled, but some of them it's just they're written for the fiddle.
Yeah, and they fall well in the fiddle.
Exactly.
You know, it's a natural thing. So Jillian is saying she's so looking forward to this. Yeah, Jillian is a wonderful harper up in Seattle, Washington now. And Judy is coming in from Hercules. Welcome, Judy. Lovely. Hercules, California. And Susan's coming in from San Francisco. So, you know, as you can see, we're an amazing community. And I think I met you actually, Aidan, through Virtual Harp Summit.
You did. Well, Donna, who is on now, she told me about you.
Now, would that be Donna Adams?
No, Donna Ingram.
Donna Ingram.
Yeah.
I love it. So so we can all, you know, connect this beautiful way and share all this knowledge, because if you don't know the things that you teach, for instance, in your workshop, you may never go to a session, you know, because you have some misperceptions about what a session involves. And you really are, you know, sort of demystifying. So I love the secret chords, you know, because you are revealing the secret.
Right. And it's really not a secret. You just have to know, you know? So
you just have to know. Yeah.
Right. And if you go to a closed session or a fast session and you don't know any of this, it's going to be totally intimidating.
Right. And when you don't know something, then you imagine, you know, that it's so much more terrible than it really is. It's just if you had a little piece of information, you can get it. It's like a key. Really, this secret thing that you're saying, I love. You just open the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Lyndon is coming in from Lawton, Oklahoma. Welcome, Linda. And Marion is coming in from New Mexico. So
nice.
We're all over the world. Yeah. So guys, you can register at virtualharpsummit.com. You definitely need to check your email though, right after registering. The reason for that is we keep in contact with you through email, but it's possible the email will go in the spam. All right. And just a reminder that we run free September 14th to the 21st. So with Aidan's particular workshop, I know you guys are enthusiastic to see that. That will be over the weekend of September 16 to 17. September 16 to 17. Let me go ahead and correct that. Yeah, and so Aidan, you actually gave quite a long workshop. It's quite detailed, wonderful, I have to say.
Yes, thank you. Well, I know it's very heavy on the four modes that are used mostly in Celtic music.
Yeah, how come you use those modes?
Well, you'll have to ask the people that created this music centuries ago. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like there is the reason the modes are named what they are is actually written out in my handout, so people can read that on their own. I honestly just parroted that information because I honestly don't really care. You know why it was.
Some people love this kind of stuff. Some people don't.
That kind of stuff, you can read it. So you know, because to me it doesn't help me figure out the chords or what to play. You know, the reason it was named that. And there are four modes that are mostly used. But I will tell you, last night, there's a guy new to the session that I regularly go to on Wednesday nights, wonderful player, and he played this tune that none of us has heard. And I said, that is amazing, but it just doesn't sound familiar. And he goes, well, the key signature is D, but it's based on F. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Phrygian, which is not a mode that we usually use. So,
Yeah.
So there are exceptions. I mean, that's the cool thing about Celtic music, is there's a lot of exceptions. But if you get the basics, which is in my video, it will get you 90% of the way there most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot like the 80-20 rule. Do you know that one?
No.
That 20% of your information will give you 80% of your results.
Okay.
And it seems like these chords really do fall under the 80-20 rule as well.
Right.
Beautiful. And we have, Katie from Chico, welcome. And I think, Aiden, you're originally from Santa Rosa.
Well, I'm originally from Arizona.
Arizona. Okay.
But when I was young, we moved to Santa Rosa, and that's where I grew up. So that's where I identify. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Aiden, what is your website? Let me go ahead and put that up on the screen.
It's HarpMuse.
HarpMuse.
HarpMuse.com. Yeah.
So
I have a couple of websites. That's the main harp one.
HarpMuse.com. And so people can find out more about you there, including some fun facts, like you were the harp coach for the harpist on that show, The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Maya Bialik. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
One of my piano students told me about that, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to work on that show, and she was great to work with. So.
Did you go to the set, or did you go to her house? What did you do?
Nope, went to the studio, went to Warner Brothers studio, and which was right next to, at the time, what was that? Oh, the one with Charlie Sheen. It was a really big hit as well. Anyway, they were right next door to each other. So now it's like the Lucifer. So it's like the show Lucifer.
Wow.
for people that like little side tidbits that you can't find elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. The advantages of living down in Southern California, right? You're right there in the industry.
Right. And a lot of my friends are in the industry too. So
yeah. So cool. What is the Celtic music scene like in the LA area?
In LA, it's okay. I mean, when I lived up in Santa Cruz for a while, it's much bigger up there in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Than it is down here, but there's pockets of it here.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
And if people do learn the basics of playing in sessions, in fact, they can join them all over the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know there's sessions up in there. They're all over the world.
Mm-hmm. So cool. We have a few more people. Anne Crosby Godet, Nova Scotia. Yeah. Anne is a wonderful teacher and composer, performer.
Great.
Yeah. We have a very creative crowd around here. I love Sally.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And Suzanne is in from Dallas. Yay.
Nice.
Yay. So guys, do you have any questions for Aiden? She's right here live. This is your chance.
And I want to say, if there isn't a session near you, you can maybe start one.
Wow.
Some of us down here are interested, or also play Cape Breton music, and there are no Cape Breton sessions, so we started one.
How do you go about starting one?
Well, you find people that want to play that type of music, and so like our Cape Breton session is at someone's home. Okay.
Cool.
So it's like you can easily, all you need are a couple, even if you just have one other person, but 2 or 3 or 4 people creates a session, right?
Yeah. And, they are very much, in a sense, like jams in a way, if people are still, a little bit unclear what a session is. And people tend to play known songs. So it's not necessarily full-on improvisation. But for, the harpist, for example, you would be improvising your part. There's no written part. I mean, the only thing that's really written, and that's not even written down, is the tune. Just the melody line.
Exactly. It's the melody line. And that's one thing, if you use the music, and I think I say this in my video, I know I do say it in the handout, is that if you are using music and somebody is playing and the rest of the session is playing it differently than it's written down, never, ever, ever, I cannot emphasize this too much, go up to them and say, you're not playing this the way it's written.
Is that a session etiquette?
That is session, and I've had that happen to me many times, right? because the tunes change, they morph. It's traditional, it's folk, and that's the nature of folk music. It's not classical. And here's the interesting thing: I have a student. She's an advanced student, but she's new to the harp, and she teaches the classical style. And she said classical music used to be all improv.
Yes.
And they just started writing it down because it was so cool, and then it became set in stone. But we in the folk scene, in the trad scene, are really fighting that. It's like, no, it's not set in stone. So if you use music in a session, you still need to use your ear and listen to the other people that are playing.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Jillian is asking, what's your number one tip for someone who has never played in a session before?
The number one tip is to go to the session and sit and listen. To see, because every session is going to be slightly different. And they're going to be, like I mentioned before, there are different types. There's closed, there's open, there's slow. But they're also, within each one, they're going to be run a little differently. So just sit and listen, see how they're run. Listen to the music that's played. Ask if you can record the tunes for yourself so you can take them home and learn them. Okay? And then ask if it's an open session, ask if it's okay if you sit in. And if you don't know the tunes, you can sit back on the sidelines when no one else can really hear you, and you can kind of maybe start to figure it out. Or if you're good at chords, maybe you can, maybe figure out what are the chords. And if you take my workshop, I lay out what chords are most used in each mode, and how you can figure that out just by listening. I hope that answers your question.
I think so, Jillian. Let us know if that answered your question. I think your emphasis on it's all about the listening.
Yeah.
Come in and just big ears, just absorb, it's oftentimes in a pub, have a drink, sit down, relax,
right.
Absorb.
Exactly.
What great musical training.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing I would say that you really don't want to do, besides the saying, oh, it's not played this way, that it's written down. And I've had this happen to me. People that come in, they've never been to a session, they don't know the tunes, but they think they know how to improvise and listen. And they'll sit in the circle and they'll play loudly and they don't know the tunes. And that's really annoying to the people that do, and also the people that are listening.
Right. There is a session etiquette where, there's oftentimes a session leader. There's someone who's kind of in charge. Right. I don't know if it's like that in Southern California, but yeah. There's kind of the instigator, and they're sort of, organizing it in a way. And oftentimes sessions are set up in circles, right. It's quite a lovely thing. And so there's almost like an inner circle of people who have played together many times, they're really established in the circle. Right. It's not necessarily a hierarchy. It just means that they are very familiar with the scene so that they can kind of hold that space.
Exactly.
And then, as it radiates out, then there's sort of the less familiar people. So, the people who are very much on the outer circles, it's very safe place for them because they're in the circle, but they're not like spotlight. And then they can gradually move forward as they get more and more familiar. So it's quite a lovely system.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. And like the Wednesday night session that I'm in, pretty much every Wednesday night, we've been playing together for almost 3 years now. There's about 5 or 6 of us. And we have certain ways of doing things. We have sets that we've put together. So one song generally follows another. I mean, we like to mix things up, but that's the other thing you want to listen for too. It's like we have a certain way of putting things together. If I go to another session, I'm not going to force what we do on the Wednesday night on another session.
Yeah, sessions tend to have, I think, their own personalities as well, and some people, they'll have their favorite session is a certain night, and another session they really like, but it's not their favorite one, because they're all different.
Exactly. And that's my bonus video on the session is I take you to my favorite session.
Yeah, guys, you really will get to see the real thing. So Aidan is literally in the pub. It's very cool. Very cool. So heartmuse.com. Any other websites of yours that you would like to recommend?
Sure. There's one. It's called Celtic-rhythms.com. And it's based on, I do a Celtic Halloween show every year. And it's very cool. I'm going to try and stream it possibly this year so people that aren't in Southern California can actually see it, because I have a whole band and I have professional dancers and a narrator, and the whole show it's all Celtic music, but it's about Halloween, and because a lot of our Halloween customs come from the Irish and the Scottish and the Celtic tradition.
Yeah, Halloween is Celtic New Year. as you know.
Exactly. That's what it's
So,
about. A lot of fun.
did I spell that right? No, Celtic Rhythms or Rhythm?
Dash rhythms, rhythm.com. Well, if it doesn't come up with an S,
Yeah,
right,
try both, guys. Yeah. Did I do the dash right?
Yeah, the dash is between the two
Very
words.
good. All right, I solved that. So Celtic Rhythms, guys, go ahead and check that out. And of course, we've talked about harp muse. And then we're getting some invitations, Linda in Oklahoma. So when can we play along in the session?
Well, as soon as they get it so that you can actually talk and play at the same time. I'm assuming you meant virtually, right?
Well, that's such a good idea. You know, there is more and more happening that people will be able to play in real time. There is some stuff happening.
Right.
So that's an option too.
Well, another thing that you can do in your own home is
Hey, Catherine.
Hi. A lot of sessions are now being put up on YouTube. So find those and play them, and you can play at home to get familiar with, you know, playing in the sessions. That's kind of what I did in my video to help you play along.
Yeah, so great. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Aidan. It's really been super fun hanging out with you. And I really recommend everybody don't miss Aidan's workshop. This is a really unique opportunity for you to learn from a session expert on a subject that's actually quite hard to get information on. Most of this is learned kind of on the spot. You know, I'm sure that's how you learned it. Just go and to session.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just go and listen, and you'll be able to figure it out. And people, you can ask people too. You know, people at sessions are usually friendly.
Yeah. So again, everybody, be sure to register for virtualharpsummit.com. Check your email right after. We are free September 14th to the 21st. Of course, you can upgrade, and then you'll be able to watch everything on an ongoing basis. And we actually have a few new features for that. So, but you'll see when we go live. And then we have just a question here, I think from Donna. Is a video workshop an open or a slow session?
It's an open session, and it actually goes quite fast. Some open sessions are slower than others. This one is run by a friend of mine who is quite skilled, and he tends to play very fast.
Okay.
It's
so something to us.
Yeah, of a fast.
Something to aspire to. Yeah. Marianne, welcome from Canada, Saskatchewan. Beautiful.
I would be open to doing slow session videos if people are requesting that at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people would absolutely love that. For Virtual Harp Summit 4, I'm not going to reveal the theme yet, but that could work very, very well for our theme. Okay. So let's talk about that, Aidan, because that was such a great suggestion. Okay. Yeah. But the things you do teach also apply to a slow session.
Oh, absolutely.
In the current videos, guys, that you're going to see. Yeah. But it would be so wonderful to have, okay, look, here's the breakdown.
Yeah, and arranging too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Oh, well, Aidan, I could talk to you forever.
No, nothing else.
Okay, everybody, thank you for being here with us live. You were hanging out with Aidan McDonald, and her workshop, just to remind you, is September 16 and 17, because remember, each workshop runs for 48 hours. Of course, you'll be able to watch Aidan's concert videos, playing videos for the whole summit, which is super cool. Register at virtualharpsummit.com. And okay, we have just one more question. Okay. From Donna. I did go to a session once and they had the melody lines with chords indicated. Is that common?
It depends on the session. In a fast or closed session, absolutely not. They're not going to use music. Right. In a slow session, very common to use music, and because that's what's there to help you. In an open session, maybe not. So sorry, that answer was not definitive because it's not definitive.
I think a slow session is more focused on learning, whereas a regular or fast session is just more about playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Playing and the you know, interaction with your friends that are there, with the people that are there, you know, having a pint or so. You know, it's not, it's about the music, but it's also about the community.
Beautiful. And we're all about that here at Virtual Harp Summit. So thank you so
You're
much,
very,
Amy.
I so appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, lovely. And see you soon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.